guys, it's Lynnea, and today I'm going to be using some products from Penguin Palace, specifically the Home Sweet Home die set, but I'm going to be altering it a bit. This die set is made so that the house can lay flat on a card, but the roof has these score lines and little tabs that you can make it a pop-up roof. But I need to create a birthday card for my son, and he's going to be 4, and he is a typical 4-year-old boy. He's very rough on things, but he is also very sentimental. He likes to keep things, and so I know he would be heartbroken if I created a pop-up house for him and it fell apart. So I'm going to alter this just by trimming off those tabs and those score lines and creating a flat roof. And I'm kind of creating this to look like my parents' house. He loves going to Grandma and Grandpa's house, and he always talks about how they have a red metal roof, and when it rains, he can hear the rain. And he always says when he grows up, he wants to have a house with a red metal roof. So I'm going to create a birthday card for him and just do a bit of ink blending. You see me here with the Candied Apple Distress ink, and I'm adding some ink to that roof, and then I'm going to come in with Fired Brick at the bottom of the roof just to get a little bit of shading. So I also die cut the main house panel, and I'm going to color that a gray. So I'm using pumice stone, and I am keeping the blending darker at the bottom and lighter towards the top. So just applying a heavier application of ink at the bottom, and then I'm tapping off my ink blending tool before I ink on the top to create that lighter color of ink. And I'm just going to finish up. You can see me there that I had masked off the door with a Post-it note. And now I will bring that Post-it note around to the front and just ink blend some red onto the door. Now I'm going to use the birthday unicorn stamp set, and I want to have the little unicorn holding the cupcake in his hands peeking through the door. And I could die cut this, stamp it and die cut this, but I thought it would be cool to have him stamped directly onto the card base. So I just traced where the door opening is, and then I will line up that little unicorn in the doorway and stamp him with some Copic friendly ink. And I'm also going to be stamping a couple cupcakes and a couple party hats off on another piece of paper so that I can color them with my Copics as well. As always, my Copic coloring is very simple and easy. I'm just using 2 color blends for each of my little images here. So to start, I want the unicorn to be white, so I'm using C00 as my light and C0 as my darkest. And as I color, I usually just start with my darkest color and then blend out with the lighter. There's lots of ways to color with alcohol markers. If you have colors that are far apart, you can start with the light, work up to a medium, a dark, and then back to a medium and a light. But since my colors are fairly close together, I'm just going in with my dark and blending out with my light for all of these. So like I said, this is a birthday card for my son. So rather than having a unicorn with pink and purples like I normally would do, I'm going to stick to shades of green and blue. Those are his favorite colors. And so I wanted to kind of create this little birthday card special for him, straight from the house and the red roof all the way down to his favorite colors on the unicorn. So once I have all my pieces cut and colored, I am going to just glue these pieces together. Now you want to be sure when you are gluing this house piece on, don't glue your door closed, unless you don't want it to open, but I wanted mine to be able to open. So I'm adding glue in between all those little window pieces and all around, but not on the door itself. And then I can just add that to my card base and test it here to make sure that the door opening is in the right place for that little unicorn. And then I will add some liquid glue for the roof. Again, you're going to see as I add the glue here, I'm going to go in between these little cutouts. I like the texture that those lines give, and so I'm just going to go in between them and then glue the roof onto the top of the house. And I colored up those individual little cakes and party hats. Those are going to sit in the windows, and I used my distress inks to color in the window backgrounds, and then the little lights that are above the windows, I just used some distress inks for those. Really simple blending, keeping the dark at the bottom and then lighter at the top. And I would just add all those pieces together, and the last thing for me to do is to add a little sentiment strip and add that right below the windows. And now as I tested this card and opened it up, I realized that the white behind the unicorn was too white. I wanted to have blue behind there like there are in the windows, so I just used my Copic markers and added a bit of blue to finish off the card. Thank you guys so much for joining me. See you soon. Bye.